I just wanted to film this really quick. I don't know. Okay, so I guess we're kind of trying to conceive baby number 2, but I haven't been like super gung-ho about it. I'll explain that later. Right now, all I want to say is I took a pregnancy test and I think I see a really faint line, but Ben says he doesn't see anything. I will show you guys. I'm not sure like that it's gonna show up, but so that's I don't know. I'll have to take another one tomorrow. It literally doesn't look like anything on here, but I promise. Can you guys see that? It's like very, very faint. I swear people do this on YouTube and I'm like, I don't see anything. Okay, well, maybe not. Okay, y'all. Ben just texted me and he said he thinks he can see the second line. So I'm going to do a recording tomorrow when I take another pregnancy test for my reaction. I don't know that my reaction's going to be like anything crazy because we are kind of expecting it, but there is some history behind it. I had a very, very early miscarriage in October. I think I was like 4 or 5 weeks along, like it was super early, but I didn't at that point know like when I was truly ovulating or when I actually got pregnant because it was a big surprise. We weren't trying at that time, and it was okay. I wasn't really filming back then, so I didn't film any kind of reaction or anything. It was definitely sad, but it would have been much harder if it was further along and if I had been through it a couple times. So I think this time, before I tell anybody, I'm gonna wait a little bit just to make sure everything's kind of like going okay. So I guess tomorrow we'll see if there's another line. I don't really know how I feel. I'm excited, but I'm really nervous. I know I want more than one kid, obviously. We want 4, but I don't know. It's hard to imagine having another one and loving another one the way I love Joshua. Everybody says like it just happens, and I'm sure it will, but I don't know. All right, I will let you guys know tomorrow. Okay, it's December 6th, and I just took another pregnancy test. And I haven't looked at the results yet. Yesterday, we thought we saw a really, really faint line, but I don't know. We want to see a darker line. So we're going to look. I don't know if it's been 3 minutes yet. Yeah, there's definitely a line.
Can I turn this light on?
Yeah. You can for sure see that line.
It's a line. He's pregnant.
I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it, yeah. Okay, y'all, I just wanted to come on here and update you on the pregnancy. it's official. I am definitely pregnant, and I've taken a test every day because I'm crazy and I want to make sure the lines are getting darker. So I will show you those. And so today I am like 4 weeks and 3 days pregnant, I think. Technically, my due date would be August 17th. Okay, so here they are. You can't really tell. There is a very faint line on this one. I think you can see that one a little bit, and then it just gradually gets darker and darker. I have Joshua's monitor in my other hand because he's sleeping, and I'm going downstairs. But Ben and I are very excited. I hope that everything goes well. I'm a little nervous, but this is kind of what we had always thought. This age gap would be perfect, like 18 or 19 months apart was the goal. So I wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that if you do not want to be hearing about trying to conceive a baby, or information about cycles or information about miscarriage, then you probably don't want to watch this video. There is a little bit, I go into a little bit of detail about what I've been through and the steps that I've taken. So just a heads up to family that might be watching, or people that might not feel comfortable with hearing and watching some of this. So thank you to everyone that's here, and I'd like to jump right into tell you a little bit about my history, and then, you know, what has happened in order for us to conceive baby number 2. Hey guys, so I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about my baby number 2 TTC journey. So for those of you that don't know a lot about me, or maybe are new coming to my channel, I want to say I am Danielle. I have a little boy who is going to be 10 months old in a few days, and a wonderful husband who is at work right now. So I need to start from the beginning and share a little bit about what happened. So when I got pregnant with Joshua, it was our son. It was a very easy, simple process for me. I started tracking my fertility and my cycle, and on the first try, we got pregnant and everything worked out really perfectly, and we had a beautiful, healthy baby, and I had a really healthy and pretty easy pregnancy. You know, is pregnancy easy? You know, but relative to people that have had a really tough time, I had a really easy, healthy pregnancy. So we had always talked about having a baby when Joshua was about 9 months old, getting pregnant again, and having about an 18-month gap. Well, around September or October, we weren't being as careful as we needed to be, and I got pregnant, but it was a surprise. We weren't trying, I wasn't tracking anything, I was still breastfeeding. It was a big surprise. So I got pregnant. I took a bunch of pregnancy tests, and they all came back negative. And then I waited like 5 days, and I took another one. And at this point, my cycles weren't completely like regular, back to normal. I think it was 4 months postpartum I got my period back. And then after that, it was just not everything was completely as regular as it was before I had Joshua. So I had no idea when I had gotten pregnant. I had no idea when I had ovulated or anything like that. So we knew about this particular pregnancy for 9 days, and at that point I had started bleeding. So that day I went to the doctor. They did a sonogram, and what they had told me was there was an egg sac, but they did not, at this stage, could not tell if there was a baby or what was the situation. So my doctor told me to go home and take it easy, and then we just have to wait and see kind of how things progress. Well, throughout the weekend, I continued to bleed, and I lost the baby on my own, which, for those who may not know, a lot of women who have a miscarriage end up having to go in and have a surgery where they remove the rest of your pregnancy. And so in that sense, as far as like health-wise, that was a positive of the experiences, that I did not have to have any medical intervention. And it was still hard, but another thing is I only knew for 9 days about this pregnancy, where some women, go much further into pregnancies. And then I think the further you go and the further attached and developed, the harder it gets. And so it is hard, no matter what your situation is. It is hard and it is sad, and there are moments where it seems really upsetting and everything. But I was able to move on, and pretty quickly, and I went a couple of times to get my blood work done, and everything came back exactly the way that it should. So at that point, I knew for sure that I wanted to wait a complete full cycle until we decided to try again, and I wanted to be much more on top of my tracking. So I started doing some research, and something that I found out, that I don't know necessarily if it's like proven, but there are some links between women that are breastfeeding and postpartum and a low deficiency in vitamin B12. And so one of the things that I did right away was I went out and I got a supplement for vitamin B12, and I started taking that. Another thing was we were already starting to wean Joshua off of breastfeeding, and we made the decision personally to continue that. That wasn't not necessarily connected to miscarriage or trying to conceive. That was a personal choice that we made, and I exclusively breastfed for 6 months, which surpassed my original goal. So I was happy with that, and then I continued to breastfeed until about, I think 8 months was when I was completely done, maybe 8.5 months. Anyway, I'm getting off track. So something that I did is I started taking vitamin B6. I got some different prenatals because in some of my research, some of the nutritionists that I follow say to make sure you're taking a prenatal that has folate from foods as the folic acid. Now, women have completely healthy pregnancies with prenatals that have folic acid. That was just a personal choice that I made based on some recommendations by some people that I respect. And then that particular prenatal did not have DHA. So I started taking a prenatal DHA as well. So, I waited a full cycle. I waited till I had my period again. And then every single day after my period, I took ovulation tests. Even on the days that my app, I had 2 different apps that I used. I used the app Glow, and I also am now using the app Flow to track my fertility. And I even tested on days that they said were not fertile days. So when we got a positive ovulation test, I got 1 positive ovulation test, and so that is when we tried. And then I waited till about 5 or 6 DPO and started testing pregnancy tests, which is very early. I think on day 7, I got a very, very faint line, and it continued after that to get darker and darker. So that is how we conceived baby number 2, and all is going well so far. I'm not a doctor, and I can't, you know, tell you what you need to do. A lot of women have struggled a lot more than I have. But after the miscarriage, I did change a couple of things that I was doing, just really tracking seriously and changing up some of my supplements, changing my prenatal, just a few different things, just to make sure that I was doing everything in my power to make all the best decisions. So I hope this is helpful. If you guys have any questions or any recommendations or any stories to tell me about your journey, I would love to hear them down in the comments, or follow me on Instagram and you can send me a direct message. I would love to hear from you and hear about y'all's journey. I am so excited to be sharing all of this with you, and I'm excited to continue to do pregnancy updates. There are a lot of people in my family right now that are pregnant, which is exciting, and then there are a lot of really awesome YouTubers that are pregnant as well, and so it's exciting to be going on this journey and kind of watching along other people's journeys as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am so excited to continue to share with you guys, and yeah, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and please stick with me through this journey. And I'm so sorry to all of you that have struggled and gone through this. I know how you feel, and I am right there with you.